Welcome back, Nick Lenz, Comic Corner Classics as Non-Classic. This is episode number 1297 and Doubleshot number 1191. Yeah, that's interesting though. Both Doubleshots and the main episode things can go to a new, 0-0 thing. In the case of the main episode, it's basically right now, this one, we have 3 episodes away from episode 1300. Yes, 1300. And also the 1200 Doubleshot. Okay, now as for the trades themselves. These are physical trades. First up, we have Captain America versus the Red Skull. Yep, this is first we have basically material from Captain America Comics #1, which is the debut of the imposter Red Skull. For some reason, this trade decided not to include the first appearance of Johann Smith from issue #3. Do not know why, but that's basically what it is. How I know this guy is not the actual Red Skull? Well, this is later being agent of the actual Red Skull. They do this 2 issues later. Not sure what they include in this trade. They include a lot of their classic his stories. We also have Tales of Suspense 79 to 81. Basically the Captain America stories. Captain America issue #13. And for the main Captain America series, we have Captain America issue 143. 226, 227. This is just after the book has stopped being called Captain America and the Falcon, because it was briefly titled that for a while, and then they dropped the title with 225. 261 to 263, and 370, and the one-shot Captain America, red, white, and blue. Yep, this basically is like a lot of classic stories featuring Captain America versus the Red Skull. Now, Captain America Comics itself is noteworthy of being the first appearance of Captain America and Bucky, though that story is not here. Nope, we actually have the first time Captain America fought the Red Skull. We think it's the Red Skull, but it's not Johann Smith. Nope. I should point out, though, with the exception of this Captain America Comics #1 is this short story, all the rest of the time it's Johann Smith. Yeah, this other guy is not the Red Skull. Nope, it's just an imposter. Now, like other times when Red Skull showed up, he looks a little different. This is how the original this is how the first time we saw the Red Skull look. This weird, red jumpsuit with a swastika on it and a red skull mask. And apparently, yes, I do agree with Linkara, this is a really stupid plan. Yeah, kill these various generals just to stabilize the American military. Despite the fact there's too many to count. So this plan is stupid. And it turns out there's actually just a businessman, though this is later retcon a couple issues later when Stanley took over, because this is all done by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. 2 guys who have since passed away. I'm not sure when Joe Simon passed away, but I know Jack Kirby passed away in 1993. 2 issues later, this was retconned by Stan Lee, where this Red Skull was not the actual one, but just an imposter. This is just an agent, per se, of the Red Skull, the real one, when he used Johann Smith in issue #3, and he also introduced Captain America's circular shield. Now, let me talk a story about Captain America. By thinking, wait, why does his shield look so triangular? Well, that was his original shield. Now, the reason why it changed the classic circular shield, like you see here in the cover, was because Stan Lee, believe it or not, was actually friends with the guy who created the character, the Shield, who had an outfit was based upon this damn thing. So that's the reason why he changed it from the triangle shield to circular one, where you can throw it. Yep. Now, in the case of the other stories, basically you have some stories featuring Crossbones and Sin. We have some stories also where Captain America's teaming up with Sharon Carter or one of his girlfriends like Diamondback. Bernie herself guest starred for 1 issue. In case you know who Bernie is, Bernie, she was basically Cap's girlfriend in between the period of time between between Sharon's parent death back in the late 70s up until he started briefly dating Diamondback. Yeah, Cap went through several girlfriends, but always went back to one woman. You are thinking, was it Peggy? No, it was Sharon, who was originally her sister, and then later changed to being her niece. Yep. All the stories in here are pure classic, what they are. I just recommend everybody just check this trailer because basically the issues in here are so good. And I'm going to give this book a 10 out of 10. The only thing I don't like about this book is it doesn't have the first appearance of Johann Smith. the classic Red Skull, one people think of. And then we have also there's a mention here of there's mention of the third Red Skull, who was the communist Red Skull from the 50s, who actually, this guy was actually, believe it or not, this guy was one who ordered the death of the Parkers, the parents of Peter Parker, Richard and Mary Parker. This man ordered their deaths. Now, these issues not only done by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, the writing, of course, Stan Lee. We also have Gary Frederick, Roger McKenzie, Jane Demanius, the late Mark Greenwald, Roy Thomas, and Tony Salmons. The artwork is done by the late... Now, a lot of people are actually since passed away, though Mike said I've actually met him. The first 3 have since passed away. Everyone else is still pretty much alive. The artwork in here is done by Jack Kirby, Joe Simon, John Romita, this is probably Jeremy Sr., Sal Buscema, Mike Zeck, I've actually met this guy, he's a real nice person, he actually is still alive. Rob Lem, he is still alive. Arvil Jones, he's known for the work of Iron Fist. And Tony Salmons. Yep. Though, I don't know who did the cover for this trade, but it's really good. Yep, I had to bring it up because, well, those are the guys working on this. Alright, this one is going to be quite interesting because I had discussed it before when I talked about the series All-Star Western. This is Jonah Hex Shadow West. Yeah, this is the trade that, believe it or not, collects all of Jonah Hex's Vertigo miniseries. Everything related to... Yeah, these 3 miniseries were things published for Jonah Hex between the first volume of Jonah Hex and the second volume. Yep. And these 3 miniseries are called Two Gun Mojo, Raiders of the Worm and the Such, and Shadow West. Two Gun Mojo and Riders of Worm and Such are 2 5-issue miniseries. Shadow West is 3 issues. Now, everything in here is written by Joe R. Lansdale. The artwork is done by Timothy Truman, who also does the cover art here. And he does actually the interior covers as well. Yeah, he does everything. Yep. Like, here's some way it looks at the inside. Yes. Now, think of this book this book basically fits very well with the Vertigo style, very much adult-like. You get nudity. Not much for swearing, per se. Mostly a lot of nudity. A little bit sexual content, and lots of violence. This book is definitely not for kids. The Captain America book I probably would definitely recommend for kids. This one, no. Heck no. It's Vertigo. It's adult. I would only recommend this to adult Jonah Hex fans because of how severely violent this is. Now, in case you're curious though, does Jonah Hex counter any of his classic characters from his own series? Like Quentin Turbo? Nope. It's just him basically taking on like Native Americans. Like, he also deals with murder, various others. Basically, it's traditional Jonah Hex stuff, just set in... Basically, you could kind of say these books are canon to Jonah Hex, because the weird thing about Jonah Hex, his story has been pretty much left intact for years, even after the reboot, because that affected the present stuff. Not much for Jonah Hex himself, per se. The other thing that is kind of weird about this series, Jonah Hex does not wear his hat at all. You know, the classic hat he wears. I mean, clearly you can see him wearing his coat that he's not wearing in the series. Oh, yeah. Like, his hat, like, if you read the entire series, I mean, he very rarely wears his own hat. He doesn't have the traditional look that he's known for having, which is simply put his Confederate uniform, which is what he wore a lot of the time. Here, it's very much banged up, and if you're going to ask, like, what point in Jonah Hex's life these 3 miniseries take place, I would say by the look of Jonah Hex, he's presumably in his mid to late 30s at this point. And there's no sign of his wife or his son. Yes, Jonah Hex has got a wife and son, though his wife, I think, was killed, but his son is still very much alive, believe it or not. Yep. But just basically, just Jonah Hex going on a series of adventures, battling criminals, sleeping with a bunch of women, a couple women get killed, not by him personally. He does not kill any women at all, because I don't think Jonah Hex ever actually killed a woman at all in any of the comics I've read. I know there's one woman he slept with who's got lots of scars on her, and that's just basically his primary love interest. No, this one was actually loosely used for Megan Fox's character, which for some reason they made her into a prostitute, despite the fact she's not a prostitute in the comics. Yep. I'm going to give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Not much really to discuss when it comes to the 3 Jonah Hex miniseries for Vertigo. I would probably recommend reading this probably after, if you get a bench read, like the entire Jonah Hex stuff, which is not a lot of it. Like get the Showcase Presents Jonah Hex books, and I would also get basically, I would read the entirety of, there's a website I go to, I'm not going to say what it is, my friend Tavia basically uses the website too, and you can read the entire 92 issue volume for Jonah Hex. It's 92 issues, and then you have these 3 miniseries that come between the first and second volume of Jonah Hex. He made sporadic appearances outside of his one comic, very rare appearances. There's even a 3-parter for Justice League where he met the Justice League when they time traveled back in time to the Old West, which this was later loosely adapted for an episode of Justice League Unlimited, which basically featured Batman Beyond and 3-parter, which that was actually pretty good. And then, of course, you have the Jeremy Palman, Justin... I think it's Justin Gray, I think it is, the guy who was the co-writer for that run. Yeah. Though it's all basically these guys. Yeah, that's the interesting thing with Jonah Hex. Whoever basically writes from the start writes the whole thing. And here, same guy writes all 3 miniseries. And this is a rarity. Now, here's the thing. Usually, Jonah Hex has gone through a different artist this whole run. Whenever you read any of the Jonah Hex volumes, usually he goes through multiple artists. These 3 miniseries all got the same artist, which that is quite surprising. That's a rare thing to see. Where, everything related to one era of basically for Jonah Hex and the same artist. Not only the same era, but the same artist as well. Yeah, this is also the first thing I reviewed by Timothy Truman. Because the first book I think of when I think of this guy is the Hawkworld miniseries, which was a reboot of Hawkman, which I highly recommend checking this book out because it is so good. It's basically late 80s sci-fi style Hawkman, which is so fun to read. And basically kind of in the way it introduces some stuff you see for the alien version of Hawkman, not much for the present one, but the version of Hawkman that exists from the late 80s to about mid 90s before the character got killed. Those body was later used for Carter Hall for some reason. Yep. So yeah, that's it for particular review, and that's it for videos today. I don't have time to do more videos today, and well, that's gonna be it. So for tomorrow, it's probably gonna be at least one video definitely coming tomorrow. Black Clover, and maybe a comic corner or 2. Maybe. Okay? But see you next video. Bye.